What do you do when you have a sagging door? This is the front door of my home, and it's actually drooped a little bit to the latching side. Right at the top here, it's actually just hitting on the edge. We're going to show you how to fix that. I'm Robert, and you're watching Locksmith Recommended. You can tell if your door is sagging because what will happen is the gap on this side of the door at the top is going to be thicker than the gap that you see over here on this corner of the door. Also, what you might find is the gap on the hinge side at the top is going to be wider than the gap at the bottom. And that's why this door has dropped and it's actually hitting in the top corner. Now normally, the very first thing I would tell you to do when you have a sagging door is to actually go and look at the hinges. And I would say put a 3 to 3.5 inch screw right in this top hinge. Most of the screws that come with doors are only 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and they just tag this hinge into the framing, which is basically not very sturdy. You put a 3.5 inch screw in there and you're gonna tag into the 2x4s behind the framing and suck that door right up into place. 80% of the time, that takes care of your problem. But I can't do it here because if you've seen my video on $1 door security, I'll put a link to that video down below, you know that I already have 3 to 3.5 inch screws in every single one of my hinges because that greatly strengthens your door. So I can't do that. But if you haven't done that, that's the #1 thing to try. Fix your problem most of the time. On that 3.5 inch screw, if you want to get the size of the head, just unscrew one of the little screws that you have in there, take it out to your toolbox, take it into a hardware store and match the head size. Because the head size is going to depend a lot on the hinge that you have. Now, if that trick doesn't work, here's a fantastic trick that will. Now, on my door, one of the things I noticed is that the gap in this top hinge is quite a bit wider than the gap in the bottom hinge. So the hinge is actually pulled away. Now in the commercial door industry, we have a nice little tool. You can slide over this hinge, fix the problem right away. Most of you aren't going to have that. So I want to make sure that we show you how you could fix this with the tools you have available at your house. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bend this hinge in such a way as to pull that door back. Now if your door has 3 hinges, you can get away with doing just the top hinge, most likely. This one actually has 4, and I've got a little bit of a gap here, so I'm going to do this one just a little bit, and then I'll do this one a little more to suck that back in. Now the first thing you need to do is you need to take the pin out of the hinge. To do that, any long, narrow device you have can just be pressed against the bottom and tapped to get that hinge out. I'm actually just using a nail. Because the door is sagging, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that hinge and it might be hard to get out. So just a little trick, I'm going to put a little spacer here to push the door back to take the pressure off that hinge. I'm just using an envelope I got in the mail. Now I push that door back and I can get that hinge out nice and easy. I'm just using a 3-inch nail to tap on the bottom of that hinge to get it out. Now, because I actually put an envelope in the one side of the door and pushed the door over, you can see that my gap now is considerably smaller, and you can actually see that the hinge doesn't line up. So what I want to do is I'm going to bend the hinge on the frame side. I'm going to bend this hinge over, and this one a little bit, and this one a little bit, so that I line that up and have everything sucked over to that side. And I'll have a nice clean edge all the way through. Now to make that bend, you can use any tool that you might have available. You can use a pair of pliers, you can use a crescent wrench. I'm going to use a pair of channel locks that I have in my toolbox. I'm just going to make that bend. Now because I also had a little bit big gap here, I'm going to do it here as well. So let's just push the pins back in and see if we've solved the problem. Got a nice gap here now, and I'm no longer hitting on that frame side. What did you think? I took care of the problem, took just a few minutes to do. If you have any comments to this video, leave them down below. I'd like to hear what you think. And if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. But you know what? If you did not like it, go ahead and give me a thumbs down. Let me know what kind of videos I should shoot for you going forward. To fix a sagging door, there's two things you want to try. One, tag some 3.5 inch screws into that top hinge. See if that doesn't suck the door right back up for you. That's the easiest thing to do and gives you a big security improvement. Again, watch our security video I put a link to down below. If that doesn't work for you, then go ahead and adjust these hinges to pull that door over. Hopefully that'll take care of your needs. I'm Robert, and you've been watching Locksmith Recommended.